Hi, I'm Susan. I'm with Creations by Susan K, and I have a video to show you today here on how to make a grapevine wreath. The project today is showing you how to make a wreath after Christmas. This is one that I've made up, and I'm going to do a smaller version for you where we've added the berries and the natural look, a little bit of pine cones, some winter birds, and a little bit of the natural ribbon. A lot of times you have that space between Valentine's Day and Christmas, and some people don't hang Valentine wreaths, so you want something while the winter season. And this is very pretty and very natural. And it still has a little bit of brightness to show the wreath off also. So the simple thing is thinking about your size and what you would like to do. I have material here. I'm going to show you what I'm going to be using. This is a 18 to 24 inch grapevine. Depending on, this is a thicker one, some are smaller, and this one here I had purchased at Michael's. I'm not affiliated with it, but this is where I had a 50 off coupon, so that's what I used. You got to remember to use those coupons, girls, when you're at the stores, because you can make something very pretty for a really good price. This was on clearance. This is a little bit of the cotton balls. It's a garland, and it's got pine cones and cotton. Right now when you're shopping, you're going to be out there looking at the Christmas merchandise that's 50, 75, even 80% off right now. So watch for those. Nothing to do with glitzy, nothing to do with glitter. Stay away from your greens, your holly, because that's what labels it as Christmas. So this is one of the pieces I picked up, I think, for 80% off. Then there was stems back at Michael's also, and these were in the back where the Christmas stems were, and these are the stems of pine cones, and I cut it apart to make two pieces out of it for the size I'm going to use. Then the other one is the berries. These berries work great on the grapevine wreath, and I cut these into, let's see, I think I got the large size, and I cut off two of the little ones, and then there was one more on the end large. So you got quite a bit for two stems. I think these here were on a 70% off. So these are really good deals. I'm going to accent with the winter birds. These come in a package of 3. I got these at Big Lots. Half off. I think they were $6, so I got 3. 3 for $3, so it made $1 a piece. They have the little clippies on the back so that you can reuse these. You don't have to hot glue them on. Now you might want to hot glue inside the in-between when you put them on, but that's another version if you want to reuse them. So we're going to put these also in the wreath that we're working with. And then I've got some ribbon. This one here was a tan and a burlap with a little bit of white. I'm going to use this one with a cream color because the birds were kind of cream with a little bit of gold, and this is all wired ribbon. So let's get started. While we're making these, you need to be thinking ahead where you're going to put this. Everybody doesn't necessarily hang them on their front doors, but you might want to put it in your home. And everything that I use here, I use the wire cutters. These wire cutters are fantastic. They have the spring inside, so when you go to cut them, you can put it down on the table and then push down when you've got those real thick stems like these here. Then it saves your wrist, that you're not hurting your wrist. I think I got these at Michael's. They were $24.99. Remember, I'm not affiliated with Michael's, but I just use a lot of my materials from there because they have good coupons. This one here is in the back in the floral supply. Another very good tip I'm going to tell you is the glue gun. This is the very fine point glue tip where you're just getting a little bit in there. You're not putting a big glob. This was also from Michael's. I think this one was $24.99. And then I used the long stems on this here too of the glue sticks. Okay, you ready to get started? We're going to start with the simple basic. I'm going to wrap this around, and so you'll know when you wrap this, I don't go wrapping it all the way around because you don't want to decorate the back. You want to just decorate the front. So I'm going to start from the top here, kind of straighten it out. It's got a wire in it. And I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to kind of run it through and then run it back. So that's going to secure it in the back. Now it has a little circular ring on the top that can be our hanger also. So keep that in mind. We will come all the way back to the top of that. I'm going to lay it here on the table, and I'm just going to kind of tuck this in here. Now, if you need to take and use a little bit of wire, we have the pipe cleaners that you can use. You can cut the pipe cleaners up, cut a little piece off, run it through there, and that helps hold it. You can use it in the brown or the beige. I'm going to tuck mine because I'm going to put other things on top of it. So you really don't need to wire everything down. You can add little touches of hot glue. I'm going to take this little piece of cotton, has a wire in it. So I'm going to go underneath the grapevine and I'm going to just swirl it around a little bit, and that's going to be a wire holding that. And so when you go to put that on there, don't press it down flat. Leave the dimensions so it looks like it's coming out towards you. It gives it a little bit more depth and interest. We have several different things that we're using, and when I use this on here, I kind of do things in different ways. Sometimes I have to wait and see what I'm making before I can really say how I'm going to attach it. Some things, if they're stubborn and they need a lot of hot glue, I will glue it. But if it doesn't need glue, I won't glue it. So as you see, I'm twisting each one, and some of these have long wires. These is what makes it look really, really pretty. They're real thin, but it's the natural pieces. Okay, so we're going to do one more here. Now, if you got some of that grapevine that's sticking out, that's just not in the ordinary, take your wire cutter and just clip it off. I'm almost done here. I'm going to turn it around. Okay, I'm back up to the top, and I'm going to go back, and I'm going to take this piece. We're going to wrap it around so it'll hang on here. Sometimes it's a little stubborn, but just work with it a little bit and it works real well. Now, where I did this, I'm going to turn it to the back so you can see it. I put two of the ends where they automatically had two little circles on it. I'm taking these two and I'm twisting them together. So that's going to be a loop for you to hang that up. So it makes a perfect little hanger. Now, this one here, it's not the same on this side. It's different on this side because they're handmade by American girls. They're not made in a machine. You're making these to look natural. So that's why I want this to be a little bit different here, and then this come around a little different. Now the next step is we have two pieces of pine. Now this is going to be to your choice how you like it. This one I had kind of curved it all the way around and down on the bottom. Whoops, we moved our little bird here. This one I kind of measured up, and I think I'm going to put a little bit, there went our bird, and this direction. Now I'm going to go ahead and attach them, then I'll hold them back up for you. And the way I'm going to attach them is I'm going to take the piece. These pine cones are wire on here, so they're wired to this plastic. And then they've got a little artificial snow on them. Okay, don't forget to lose the focus of your top. But let me put these in here, and then we'll go back and I'll hold these up for you. Okay, we just kind of want to weave it in there, because keep in mind when you're using all this material, and if you're the type that like to change your wreath out and make something different on the same grapevine, don't use globs and globs of glue because it's going to be very hard to get off. Just anchor it with a little bit of wire or a little bit of weaving, and they'll come out a whole lot easier for you. Okay, this one here. And you can shake it when you're done. If it's wobbly and you feel uncomfortable, add a little glue or add a little bit of pipe cleaner, and that'll hold for you. Okay, I'm going to hold this up to show you how I did one high and one low. And this gives you an idea on the size of your wreath. Now, keep in mind, if you have an area or a door where it can't handle the height and the length, you would have taken, you have woven that all the way around and made a circle wreath. So that's your choice. This is, I'm going to say, one of the smallest wreaths I make. I do make little ones sometimes if maybe somebody says, I have a very small area, or maybe it's doors in the nursing home. I have a lot of requests where people want small wreaths to put on the doors inside for maybe assistant living or retirement centers, and that's very popular. but it's very hard to put very much and get a big design on it. These are the different berries that I'm going to use. I'm going to take and go, I think I'll go with the top height first. Again, I'm going to lay these down. I'm going to weave them in there. I'm going to bend these around. When I'm bending these around, I'm giving the curvature. This is more of an oval wreath instead of a round wreath. Then again, put that one there. You want it to stick out. Berries, if you see a bush out in the woods, the berries are just out every direction. You want it to look natural. You want your berries to look natural on here. You don't want them to look like you hot glued the whole thing together. You want it to look like it was put together, and when they look at it, they're like, oh, that looks like something from the forest or somewhere from the woods. So that's the whole idea of it. When we're doing this, we're going to accent with very little material besides the natural look. Again, you want something to make you look like the birds are going to come on your front door. That's another thing a lot of people tell me. They have so many birds inside their wreath. A way to keep that from happening is don't use the moss on your wreath. They love the moss to make their actual nest themselves. So try to avoid using any natural moss or any natural of the Spanish moss, the green moss. You don't need it. This is the look you're wanting on this one here. And when we go into future pieces, like when we make the Valentine, which will be coming up our next segment, we will show you how to use all this without. I have self-taught myself how to use a whole lot less material, and so that you feel like you can make more items without having to put so much money into it and not spend a whole lot. Here is an idea. So you kind of see, we went up with some height. We want the berries to be a three-dimensional. We've kind of got an area where we're going to fill them with the birds, and we're going to use some of the ribbon loopies, and our project's just about over. And you'll be able to hang this up today. Now, you can make a bow. You could put your initial on this for a gift you can give to someone. If you want to use their last name initial, would be real nice. This particular one, I had used a lot of the loopies, and that's what I'm going to show you how to make a loopy and a bow. So we'll let you have the decision on which one you'd like to make. When you're using the ribbons, this particular one was from Michael's. Christmas was 80% off. It doesn't look like Christmas, does it? It's a beautiful cream color with a highlight of gold, and it's wired. So you need to be checking these stores out right now because all the good sales are there. This one was 25 yards, and I think it regular was $10, so I think I paid $2. So I'll get at least 2 bows out of this one. Now I'm going to start off, we're going to make a loopy like I've got in these. What you're going to do is you're going to make a small loop around. You're going to take and go backwards, basically like a check mark. That's all that is. Now, I'm going to take, cutting off the top. You're going to gather this up, and you can staple it together, and that will give you an idea. This is in the back so you can see. And then I just, when I crunch something up, that's giving me a little more dimension and a little more look. So these are those little pieces that I have tucked in all back here. Now, if you don't have a stapler handy, the hot glue gun, you always got that plugged in, you can smell it. So we're going to put a little bit of glue here and a little bit of glue underneath. Now be real careful, don't burn your fingers on these, because this is one way you can definitely do that. So be cautious. If you've got like a little stick or a wire left over from when you were doing your stems, use those to push it down. Don't use your finger. This is one way you can take and be a little bit more safe. And then kind of crunch it together after it's cooled down. Okay, so if we want to take and insert these inside here, this is what we would do. And again, remember, we want to make our picot little tips. Okay. And you can also do a ribbon and a few picots. If you got enough ribbon, you can do all kinds of things. One more, I'm going to make a bow. real quick to put on here. Your bow is something, gives you one more little lesson if you didn't catch the last one on ribbons. We're going to make our loop all the way around, pinch it together. We're going to go underneath, pinch. We're going to twist this one. We're going to pinch, twist, loop, pinch, twist, loop. This is all we're going to make, just a small one right here. We're going to take, cutting it off so you can see the back and the front. I'm hanging on to it. I'm going to make me a pretty little tail. I'm going to measure it before I cut it to make sure it's what I want. Cutting it off. This is the back. This is the front. This is where my thumb is. My thumb has never left the center. I'm going to put the pipe cleaner over my thumb and then under my thumb to be able to, so my thumb doesn't get caught in there. That's why I'm sticking it underneath. Bring it around to the back. Twist it about 3 times. And there is your bow. Now again, remember, every bow that I make is a little different. I have several different type ribbons that I'm going to show, and I want to do another video about bows. We have one already, and we'll be using deco mesh to show you different bows and talk about a fun one. When you get into making bows with deco mesh and making deco mesh wreaths, you are going to love it. With this here, when we make the deco mesh ribbon and bows, you're going to see how super you are. You're going to be able to tell everybody, I made this. Isn't it cool when you make something and somebody says, where'd you buy that? And what you say, I made it. That's the best part. Okay, we're going to add our finishing touches of our little birds. These are winter birds. They're real different. Now you can use red cardinals on this if you'd like also, or you can use just the birds. I'm going to hold this up. We're going to take the loop off right now, and we're going to see about where we'd like to put this. Since we have the creams and the whites, maybe about right in here, and let's just pinch him on there and attach him. And then we're going to do one more. Now, if you like a lot of birds, you go for it. You put how many ever birds you like. If you're saving it for another project, then maybe you'd want to take and use just one. That's the best part about it. When you make it to your likings. Now, this is the project here. If you want to add some more loopies through it, give some ideas. But that kind of gives you an idea on how the loops look. And I would add at least 3. The rule of thumb is 1 is an accident, 2 is a pair, and 3 is an accent. So that doesn't mean everything comes in 3s, everything, you have to do it in 3s. That's just an idea of when you're changing colors. If I was adding maybe bright green to this, and I just added 1 bright green, that looked like an accent. If you use 2, it looks like a pair you've accented, but 3 is a total accent. This is all I have for you today. Please check our other videos and make sure you don't forget to hit the like button and share my videos. And subscribe to my different videos that I do. And don't forget about Valentine's Day. It's right around the corner also if you like things like that. Thank you very much.